Kia ora, hello Woman Checker, and welcome to Kids Zone at Brimbank Libraries. My name is Sarah, and today we are going to learn how to find a good book. Perhaps you have read everything by your favourite authors or in your favourite series and you're looking for something new, or perhaps you've read everything by your favourite authors or your favourite series and your parents or your guardian or your teacher has challenged you to find something different. We are going to look at ways to use the Brimbank Libraries website to find your next great read, because I promise, Brimbank Libraries has thousands and thousands of fabulous junior books, and I promise that at least some of those you will absolutely fall in love with. You may just not yet know that they exist. So we are going to look at ways to help you find them. So all you're going to need are your library card number and library card password and access to the internet. We're going to use a computer today, but you can also, you can also access the Brimbank Libraries website on a mobile phone or a tablet. So your library card number, your library card password, and access to the internet. Let's go. Here we are. We have loaded up our browser, and the first thing that we need to do is get to the Brimbank Libraries website. So there are two ways you could do this. You could either type Brimbank Libraries straight into Google, and ours should be the top result. Otherwise, you can type the Brimbank Libraries website address straight into the address bar up here. So I'm going to type Brimbank Libraries, it's popped up because it knows me, .vic.gov.au, and I'll hit return, and that will take us to the Brimbank Libraries website. Okay, so the first thing we want to do once we are on the library website is to sign in to your account. So that can happen up here near the top of the page where it says your account. Now to sign in, you're going to need your username and your password. So your username is your library card number. That's the one that's on the back of your library card under the barcode, starting with P with then 7 numbers. So you're going to need that library card number and your password. If you can't remember your password, you can choose to reset it by getting an email sent to the email address that's associated with your card. So that's likely to be your parent or guardian's email address if we did record their email address when we made your card. So the first thing you could try if you didn't remember your password is you can choose the click here to reset it, and that will send a password reset email to the email address attached to your library card. If there isn't an email address attached to your library card and you don't remember your password, you can always give us a call or contact us to ask us to reset it for you so that you can choose a new password. So once you have your library card number and your password, we're just going to pop them in. I've got some stored ones here. And so you put your library card number up here, password in here, and click log in. Then it's going to take you to your Brimbank Libraries account page. It should say your name here. Hello Morrigan Crow. Obviously I'm not Morrigan Crow. For those of you who know Morrigan Crow, well done, she's fabulous, but we're just borrowing her name today for a demonstration of the website. Hello Morrigan Crow. It will show you in this area any books or items that you have issued on your card at the moment, and you can also use this part here to look at things like your reading history, things you've borrowed before, your personal details, and all sorts of other bits and pieces. But what we want to do is find something to read. So the first thing that you might like to try, if there is a series of books that you've been loving, the first thing you might like to do is find out whether there are any new books in the series or any books that you haven't yet read. So say you were a big fan of the Real Pigeons series, the Real Pigeons Fight Crime. So you could come up here and type in Real Pigeons into the search bar and choose go. And there we have 16 results popping up. You can either just then scroll down and pick any that you haven't read by looking at the covers or reading the titles. And say you hadn't yet read Real Pigeons Get Breedy, this is the latest one, you might choose to reserve it. You can see here under availability that it says no items available, it's on order. So what you could do is place a reserve on it so that you're one of the first people to be able to read it when it arrives. So to put anything on reserve, there are a couple of ways you can do this. If it's just one book in this list you'd like to place on reserve, you can click here, place on reserve. Or if you want to, say you hadn't read Real Pigeons Splashback either, you could put both of them on reserve by placing ticks next to the ones you'd like to reserve. And then at the top of the page where it says with selected titles, there's a blue place reserve over here. We're going to click that. And then on the reserve page, it gives you the option of which library to collect your reserves from. We're going to leave this at Keilor today, and then we're going to choose confirm hold. Also tells you how many reserves there are and your place in the queue. So I'm going to choose confirm hold. Brilliant, and now I can see back on my home page there's nothing on my card at the moment, but I have 2 items on reserve, and it tells me how far in the queue, how far down the queue I am as well. Right, I'm going to get rid of those reserves though, because Morrigan doesn't want to read those books today. And I'm going to cancel that one as well. If you ever want to cancel a reserve, that's how you did it. Okay, so that was for finding books in a series that you already know about, and choosing new ones. Say you've read everything in the series that you love and you'd like to find something else. Perhaps there is an author that you particularly like. I'm a big fan of Bren McDibble, so we could search for Bren McDibble's name. You could either, Bren McDibble's a pretty special name, you could leave it as is, or choose over here to search for authors named Bren McDibble, so it's not going to look for either the words Bren or McDibble in any titles. Now we'll choose go. And here are the results for books written by Bren McDibble. And oh, I still haven't read Across the Risen Sea. Now you can see there are 2 copies of this here. This one here says electronic resource. That means that Brimbank Libraries has this as an e-book or e-audio. So this is one that you read on your phone or your tablet or your computer or you listen to. Whereas the one that doesn't say electronic resource, this is a book. So say I wanted to borrow the book, I could give that one a tick and choose place reserve, or just choose place reserve down here. The other thing I could do, if I thought, oh yes, I really want to read that book, but I want to reread one of her other books first, I could save this book into my library bag, and this could be kind of like a list of things that you'd like to read one day. You don't want to forget that you've come across this. We can just choose add to your library bag here, and the library bag's kind of like a shopping cart if you're doing online shopping. So it's a place where you can gather all of the things that you maybe want to borrow one day but maybe just not today, or you want to put them in a list and then decide which ones. Say you're only allowed to borrow 3 at a time, you could put a whole lot of them in your bag and then choose which 3 you'd like to borrow today. So we've put that one in your library bag. It says already in your library bag, so that's another one on a list. And let's say I wanted to reread The Dog Runner because that was absolutely excellent. I'll choose place reserve, and I'll place that on reserve today, but I'm not actually going to. Let's go back. Excellent. All right, so that's how to search by author. Now, another thing you could do if you can think of a book that you liked, but you don't necessarily want something else by that same author, say it was a book that you really loved and you've read everything by that author, but you'd like to find something kind of similar, you could use this fantastic feature that we have on the website. Say I wanted to read something similar to the book Peacock Detectives, which is another fabulous, fabulous, fabulous book. And I think from memory the author has another one due out soon, and I'm really, really excited about it. So we've searched for the Peacock Detectives in the library catalogue. So we want books like the Peacock Detectives. I'm going to click on the title, the Peacock Detectives. And this brings up a page full of information about that book. It tells you when it was published, how long, how many pages are in the book. Over here also gives you some ideas, different subject headings for the book, and really usefully there's also a wee summary. It shows you how many copies of the book we have, where they are, whether they're available, when they're due back. There are also notes and sometimes an excerpt, which gives you a little taster of writing from the book, and some reviews published by people who have read the book. But what we're going to be looking at today, we're going to go back to holdings and scroll down, further down the page. There's a wee bit about the author, but we are looking for this bit here, you may also like. And we've got a whole selection of other books that have been enjoyed or at least borrowed by people who have also borrowed the Peacock Detectives, or books that have been deemed similar to the Peacock Detectives. So you might like to scroll along and go, the Goldfish Boy, what's that one about? And story about finding friendship. Oh yeah, this sounds a bit like me. You can then choose check availability. And it's going to bring up the page for the Goldfish Boy. And you can then choose to place a reserve on that one. And from this page, if you want to place a reserve or add to your library bag, you do that over on the left here in this blue area. So you can choose place a reserve or add to your library bag. I'm going to add this one to my library bag because I think I'd like to borrow it one day. Excellent. If you want to see everything that's in your library bag, this is up the top of the screen here. We can click on library bag, and it brings up a list of everything in the bag. And then from there, you can choose which ones to reserve or remove, or you can create lists for things. It's a really, really useful function and great to know about. All right, so we've looked at finding similar titles. Oh, another thing you can do is you can search by subject. Say you really love books about dragons. Up here in the search bar, we could type in dragons and choose, let's go, maybe subject, go. And up should come a whole list of books about dragons. It says your search returned 494 results. Oh my goodness, how do we choose something out of those 500 books? Say you wanted a really new book. Say you think you've read lots and lots of books about dragons and you want to see if there are any new ones in the library. Over here, this drop down allows you to sort the results, and we're going to click down like this, and then we're going to sort by publication or copyright date, newest to oldest. So this will bring up the most recent books first. So I'm going to click there and give the website a second to think and reorder its list. And here we go. Now the books have been sorted into newest to oldest. Now this list though includes adult dragon books as well. So the way to tell which ones are the junior dragon books is to look for the J in front of where it has the location. The COLF is the first four letters of the author's name. If it was a junior book, there would be a J and then a space and then COLF. So we're just going to scroll down until we find this one is a young adult book. It's a teen book. We've got a T in front of the first 4 letters of the author's name. And here we go. Amy Kaufman. Oh, number 3 in the Elementals. If you haven't read the Elementals series, these books are fantastic. So you might like to borrow this one. I'm going to add it to my library bag for now. Easy as. So we've learned how to search for an author if you're looking for something else in a series or just something else from that author. We have learned how to search for titles similar to a book you've read by scrolling right down. Let's have a look in the Elementals one. We're going to open up this page and scroll right down and see it shows us more by Amy Kaufman here. So we can choose other Amy Kaufman titles down the bottom here. We've learned how to, we've done similar titles. We've learned how to add things to your library bag, place things on reserve. Another useful trick, if you just want to browse some of the shiniest, newest junior books in the library, right up the top of the page in this blue bar here, we've got a drop down that says new items. We can click this and choose for kids. You might have seen that there was also the option of choosing comics or manga or non-fiction. We've chosen for kids, and this is going to show us a selection of the newest books. So it's 130 of Brimbank Libraries' newest books. So you can just simply scroll down here and look at anything that looks promising. Oh, there's Hollowpox for those who are into Morrigan Crow. And you can choose to add to your library bag or add reserves from this list. And this way you can always keep up with what's newest and get into the queue quickly and early. And if you still haven't found something that you'd like to read, or if you're still looking for other ideas, there are a couple of really, really good junior fiction podcasts that I would love to recommend to you. They're both produced here in Australia, and they feature lots of local authors and local releases, and lots of author interviews and giveaways and all sorts of fun things. And I've learned so much about wonderful new Australian and international fiction from these. And these 2 podcasts that I can highly recommend checking out are, the first one is called One More Page. So you can search for One More Page podcast, and you can go to their website, which looks like this. And let's just accept all the cookies. And you can scroll down and it tells you about the different ways that you can listen to the podcast here. And they also put wonderful show notes up on the website for every podcast. Looks like you can also listen online. Fabulous. So they put the show notes on and include all of the books that have been spoken about and recommended. So this is one fabulous place to find out about new books coming out. Fantastic new books coming out. The other one I can highly recommend is the fabulous Kid Lit Club is by Sally Rippon and Adrian Beck. It's called the Kid Lit Club, and you can listen on Apple and lots of other places. And this one is also done over video, so you get to watch it as well, which is fantastic. I haven't watched it yet, I've only listened, but it is also as fabulous as the One More Page podcast. And there we are, a few tips and tricks for using the Brimbank Libraries website and online catalogue to find your next great read. Remember though, if you've tried all of those tips and tricks and you've had a good explore all around the website and you're still looking for something, you still haven't quite found enough, please give us a call, get in touch. There are lots of friendly librarians who would love to hear from you and to help you find your next great read. So, happy reading, and we'll see you soon. Ka kite. Bye.